Hello guys, welcome back to round 1 of the Grandmasters League between TheViper and Ming. This is game 2 between these two guys, and the map is Land Nomad as chosen by Ming. The last map chosen by TheViper was Migration. If you haven't seen that yet and you don't want any spoilers, click down to the bottom right now, as we did yesterday, and go to that video. I'm going to assume you've clicked in 3, 2, 1, and if you're still here, then spoilers are about to be happening because Viper did win that last game, didn't he? Which does mean even that he is in the lead 1-0, and Ming needs to win this game in order to make it a tie. If he loses this game, then it's going to be 2-0 to the Viper, and the Viper will gain 3 points and Ming will gain 0. If it's a tie, they will both gain 1 point each. So this map, well, Land Nomad, we saw this one yesterday, and unfortunately yesterday's game was a little bit of a disappointment. VH getting such a bad map, and unfortunately it happened, and I'm not going to dwell on that for much too longer because we do have another game here which we will hopefully see something a little bit different in. Ming here starting close to 3 boar, so he's definitely going to have some food nearby. He is playing as Mayans up to the sort of top of the map here. In yellow we have the Viper, of course, and God, I hate this colour because I don't know if he's gold or if he's actually yellow. Here he is with his lumber camp over here. He's playing as Chinese, so it's going to be a Chinese on Mayan War, and he's down here sort of on the far right of the map, and yeah, playing as Chinese, again close to 3 boar, and there is a skill in finding where to actually go on these maps, and apparently if you are a very skilled Land Nomad player, you do know the best spots to go, and you can find food very easily. I think VH is a little bit less skilled on LN, but I can't say for sure because I've not really spoke to him about it. But according to the pros, the guys who play LN a lot, there is ways to find exactly where the food is going to be through your sixth sense, as they call it, or as Viper calls it, map hacks. Though I can assure you he does not use map hacks. So anyway, they've both started with 3 boar and a 4th very close by, and Ming again with 3 boar and a 4th close by, and it's very important to look at their scouting, because Viper here with a hell of a lot of sheep already scouting around, finding what's up and what's good, and scouting around with his sheep. A lot of map coverage already for him, hence his score. It's quite high there, 500 to 185. Very nice. And Viper saying 500 versus 185 GG. Ming, boo. Viper, smiley face. And Ming without any sheep. So this seems to be a common problem in a Land Nomad that I can see, especially the Tribal Wars version, which this one is. Finding sheep seems to be a nightmare for these guys. Fortunately, Ming does have these boar nearby, and he does actually have sheep quite close by as well. He's got sheep just over here, 4 sheep there, and he does have 4 sheep, 5, 6 sheep here as well. So he has got sheep nearby, he's just not found them yet. And he might actually see them here with this exploration sheep, perhaps. No, but he is going to find the deer patch. That's going to be useful to him. If he finds that deer patch and goes and puts a mill there, he will find the sheep a little bit later on. So it's not all over for him. He has got sheep nearby, and he will find them, I'm sure. More to the point, he has got 4 boars here, and so does the Viper. Viper also has a hell of a lot of sheep, though, which does mean he's probably going to have a slight advantage going into this. He also has this deer patch down here, and I'm sure he will be milling that a little bit later on. Of course, berries close by as well, and more sheep scattered around that haven't been collected up yet, but unlikely that they will be for a while, because there's not really much point sending a villager over there to go and collect sheep if you've got that many sheep at your town centre and that many boar. Ming, then, we're going to keep an eye on him because this is his map choice, and he's struggling here because he does have to lure these boar. Fortunately, he's Mayans, so he started with that extra villager, which does make luring the boar slightly easier, I guess, as he will, of course, need to have a few more villagers out in order to lure these without dying every time. But managing to lure that one in there, that javelina, it's not even a boar, it's a javelina, whatever the hell that is, and he's luring that one in now and going to be able to get some juicy meat off of that one. And he's going to have to be a little bit careful though, because he's going to have to drop off food so he doesn't end up with an idle TC like that. Look at this, he needs to drop off that food. There we go. Getting up to 64, building another villager there on top of that, and that way you won't have an idle TC. And that's the one problem with gathering boar at the very start, and deer for that matter. Villagers carry a lot more meat, so they don't have to travel between the town centre and the animals so much, and that sometimes can prove a little bit of a problem to to newer players at the very least, because they're going to run out of food if they don't keep garrisoning villages inside the town centre. And for those of you who often ask why do they keep putting villages inside the town centre and going back, that's the exact reason. When you put villages inside the town centre, they drop their resources, and it's easier to garrison them in and then reassign them to the boar than it is to just select the villagers and then right click on the TC like that. So you'll see that's why that's happening. And that's to prevent his TC from being idle. He's going to go lure his second one right now. And he does have a couple of sheep as well. If he just goes here, he'll find some more. If he uses this one a bit more, he'll find the ones over here. And I think Ming will be okay, though he doesn't really have the map coverage that he'd like, I imagine, at this stage. He really could use a little bit more map coverage and find out exactly what is going on. Viper, on the other hand, he knows all, he sees all, and he knows exactly where Ming is, I believe. Does he? Well, he's going to assume he's here for sure, because that villager trail just stopped. And so did this villager trail here, which is a telltale sign that there is a villager or a town centre nearby. Indeed, there is. There's a house there, a town centre here, and that is why Ming has 2 sheep, because Viper handed them over to him on a plate. Though that is to be expected when you're exploring with sheep, because you don't know what is around the corner, and their line of sight really is terrible. But Ming's starting to get a little bit of map coverage now, finding where his resources are. Gold fairly close by, front and back. And of course these deer and boar patch as well. So he's going to be luring these deer and boar in. Well, luring the boar in, not the deer. He doesn't have a scout cavalry, and that is great for him. Viper, on the other hand, well, he is got a herd of sheep. It's like we're in New Zealand here, sheep capital of the world, or Wales, and he is just doing absolutely fine for food. Starting to take these deer down here as well, and I'm going to keep things speeding up a little bit. Looks like Viper's in a decent situation, and he should be just fine for now. We're going to point out as well that Inland Nomad does take a little bit of a while to get things going, because obviously without starting with the TC, it's very slow to get going. But once it does get going, you do have those extra boar and the extra sheep and the deer, so it's not impossible to get a quite strong start. And I imagine we'll see the Viper going up pretty shortly as well. Ming, he has just found his deer patch, and well, not found his deer patch, he's milled his deer patch, but he found his sheep, and now he has 6 or 7, yeah, there we go, he's got 7 sheep at his town centre, and he is going to be absolutely fine. A little bit of a sketchy start there, could have gone either way. It was a little bit on the shelf. If you didn't find those boar, then you would have had another situation like Feudal, and it's debatable whether this map is really bugged or not, and whether it needs looking into, because this is the map that was played for the $15,000 Tribal Wars tournament. One would assume that it is free of bugs, but obviously it does seem a little bit odd that a lot of these players seem to be struggling to find sheep early on, and that is just unfortunate, I think, to say the least, that we've had 2 games now where 2 players have struggled to find sheep very easily. There we go, a perfect timing on that boar lure there. That boar just running out of food as Ming kills this one off, and he'll be going up to the feudal age pretty shortly, I imagine. He's got quite a bit of food coming in already, almost 22 pop. Viper even going up on 23, and I'm sorry Viper if you are watching this right now, I didn't mean to call you Feudal, don't take offence man, I'm sorry. Not that being Feudal is a bad thing, but being the Viper and all, well, we'll see. But feudal age now for the Viper going up on 23, and still lots of sheep nearby, lots of boar meat, and plenty of deer to go. Barracks coming up from him as well. We could see some pretty fast pressure here. And with that many sheep, he could even go for a fast castle, especially with these deer down here as well. The barracks going up though, so we could see something a bit earlier on. Maybe a scout rush, perhaps, though unlikely. Maybe a scout comes out for some scouting or something, but likely that we'll see a fast castle of sorts here. Viper actually gathering gold down here. His gold is very far from his town centre, but for Ming, he's pretty unfortunate in the fact he has no scouting no scouting knowledge of the Viper's base at this stage, because he would know that this is a very weak spot in the Viper's base. But Viper, with this gold down here, 3 villagers to gold, he's going to go for a fast castle, and we'll probably see that rolling out pretty quickly. Ming, on the other hand, halfway up to Feudal Age right now. Viper again in the lead going into Feudal, but Ming too going up with those gold collectors over here, and he possibly going for a fast castle as well. He will probably just about have the food for it, and not so many villagers gathering wood indicates to me he's going to be going for the 2 Feudal Age buildings once he reaches the Castle Age. Of course, having such little scouting information really also slows this game down in the Feudal Age, because for instance Ming here, he has no real idea where the Viper is right now. If he was to go for a Feudal Age rush, where would he go? Well, he's only going to go, well, he could be anywhere. Viper could be here, he could be here, he is there, but he could be in a lot of different places. If we see some Nomad and Land Nomad games, we often see where players start on top of each other, and that is the unpredictability that you could come to expect. So Ming perhaps not going to go for a feudal pressure, and as you look at his food already, he's ready for a fast castle right now. Viper, very, very close again, just a little bit more food required. He's got a stable up right here, and he's got his blacksmith up here as well. Of course, he does know where Ming is, so he can actually afford to start walling off in this direction. Ming's starting to wall off a bit as well. He knows he's not in this area. He can only assume Viper is on the other side. Market blacksmith from him, and he will be going for the fast castle as well. Viper now, though, with his stable, could be going for knights once he reaches the Castle Age, and that is one thing about going with a civilization that's got knights. Viper gonna be able to go in with knights here, get some picks on villagers if he manages to get through the walls of Ming, and with Ming actually starting to wall here, he could be learning a trick or two from Tim. But Viper, of course, going with Chinese, going to be able to get out knights, whereas Ming here, playing as Mayans, he is not going to be in the same situation. Knights are not an option for him. Eagle Warriors, yes. Knights, no. But I don't know whether he's going to be considering Eagle Warriors against Knights in this situation. Again, not the best choice to make. So he could be again on the fence. Going to be a little bit tough for him, I think, here, because Viper going to get those knights out, and he's going to reach the Castle Age first. A scout cavalry coming out right now, and see what the Viper's going to go and see. A villager going forwards as well with that scout cavalry. Kind of interesting, and he's found the walls of Ming, the Great Wall of China. Of course, Ming being Chinese, and it looks to me like Viper might just be able to get in there. That builder really low on HP, 16 HP, and that builder is going to die. That was a little bit unfortunate, and that is why you don't send your weak villagers to go and build buildings, because they do get picked off by scout cavalries, and that means Viper is straight in through that hole with the villager going through as well. Ming, though, going to see that villager going through just there. If he catches that, then he will have a little bit more guard up, but for the time being, Viper into Ming's base, and he's got a sneaky villager going in there. Let's see what he's going to go and build. He's got enough wood for a few things here. Castle Age research just about to complete. What is the Viper going to do? It's a siege workshop, and we could see some very fast pressure coming in from the Viper here. Knights coming out from the stable already, and I'm feeling very on edge for Ming at this stage. Ming gonna be struggling massively against this. Viper's into his base. He's got a hole in his wall right here, and oh dear, the knight is just about to come out in any second, and Viper could be on his way to winning this game in a pretty decent time indeed. Not a record time. A record time would be 6.5 minutes, but a pretty decent time. There's the siege workshop, and a mangonel coming out. He's gonna go and mangonel his town centre down. That is gonna be messy, and Ming potentially here gonna be in such a bad situation. He's into the Castle Age, but what is he gonna do? Can he get up a barracks quickly and start making something? He's gonna go for a monastery, and I believe he will assume that knights are gonna be coming in. A monastery from Ming right there, and that could indicate to me that he's going to go for some monks and try and convert these knights. But the knights coming in now, picking off the villagers, and that is going to be GG, dead villager right there, and a game for this one here. Unfortunate for Ming indeed. not being able to get walled in time and not having that map visibility to know where the Viper's going to be coming from. Viper getting it up, and in comes the Mangonel, attacking that town centre, and that town centre under a lot of pressure right now. Ming, though, with a new town centre up on this gold pile, he's going to need that. He's going to have to keep these villagers safe as he's gathering this gold, as he will need the gold for the monks. The monk coming out right now, 58%. He's going to be trying to get a conversion on one of these knights, but these knights killing off the villagers. And oh no, he's got in once again. That's another 2 dead villagers there potentially, and this is certainly not looking good for Ming, losing villagers left, right and centre. But the siege workshop goes up, and a mangonel coming out for Ming here. He is, of course, going to want to combat the mangonels from Viper. Of course, the best counter to mangonels at this stage is mangonels, and that's 2 for the Viper, 1 potentially coming out for Ming right here. But this town centre getting pretty low on health. He's going to have to be pretty careful. And Ming, of course, cannot afford to go and rush the town centre, rush the mangonels with villagers because of the knights behind it, and the monks from the Viper as well, coming out with some monks of his own. A monastery going up right there, and a couple of monks coming out too. Anything that Ming does here is going to be absolutely horrible for him to deal with. 37 pop for Viper, 27 for Ming, and this advantage getting quite large as this town centre gets low on HP, about 700 left there. Viper losing a mangonel, quickly reacting there, going to be able to dodge that bullet and try and take out Ming's mangonel. He just got it down in time, and we're going to have to see another mangonel coming out for the Viper here, and he's not got enough resources for that just yet, but he is going to go and hold on to that high ground, and he's actually taking down the monastery here. I thought perhaps he'd be going for the TC. Yep, back on the TC he goes, and he's got that hill advantage. In comes a few more monasteries and potentially a few more knights as well, but at the moment it's just scout cavalry, because scout cavalry counter monks a lot better than knights do. Knights going to be used to take out villagers, scout cavalry going to be used to take out the monks, and this is great play from the Viper. If he takes out this town centre, oh Ming, you are going to lose so many villagers and so much stuff. This is something to be very worried about. So many villagers getting put into that TC there to try and keep them safe, but look at that, that's 777 HP and losing HP fast, and Viper's going to have to be Ming here is going to have to be very careful. Getting conversions on these villagers, that is cheeky, and another mangonel coming out. Ming is all over the shop. It looks like Viper's going to take this game in a matter of seconds. Ming going to try and take out this mangonel, but Viper killing off villagers with his mangonels, taking down this town centre. The town centre is going to go, and there really isn't a lot that Ming can do in this situation. He has got absolutely nothing. That's GG from him, and that is 2-0 to the Viper. A very quick game there. Land Nomad for you, and Viper with a very nice little attack. Monks, scout cavalries, mangonels, and a couple of knights to top it all off. Very well played by him, and almost got that town centre down as well. And yeah, interesting game indeed. 2-0 for the Viper, and that puts Ming in last place, unfortunately, as well as Chris, joint last place, 0 points for them. Viper goes up to the top of the league with Dogao, 3 points for the Viper, and again in the middle we have Jordan and VH with 1 point apiece. You can find the link in the description of this video and the last video to the AOC Zone post, where you can download the games in the recorded games file, the recorded game file, sorry, and you can view the league table as well, which is also linked in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Tomorrow we have got Doubt versus Tim. I will warn you in advance though that those games did drop, which means we don't have the full game available to us, unfortunately, but we do have that coming up tomorrow. See you next time.